A new feline. Plag, Adrien called. The small black cat flew in front of him. Plag, I need you to grab my ring and find Ladybug. She'll know what to do. I can't allow Puppeteer to get a hold of this, he whispered. But Adrien, you... Go, Plag, he whispered harshly. I can't let Ladybug down. Hearing how urgent Adrien made it sound, and how pleading his eyes were, Plag flew to his right hand, lifted above his head, and pulled off the ring. Seeing his flying Kwame go, Adrien could only hope for the best. Plag flew as fast as he could between the chaotic crowds. Everyone was screaming and running with flaying arms in hopes of avoiding the beams of the flying kid above them. Where are Ladybug and Cat Noir? I want to play! She screamed. Swiftly flying through the commotion, Plag still saw no sign of Ladybug. Where is she? He thought. Another girl caught his attention. Instead of running away, she ran towards the puppeteer. Plag hummed. He suddenly had an idea. The hair-colored girl ran toward the akumatized kid. She had her sibling. She couldn't allow her to get away with that. The pounding of her heart rang in her ear, fearing for her sibling. As she ran, a floating thing passed her eyes. She looked to see whatever it could be. Her mouth fell open to what she thought it was. It's a flying cat. Not slowing down, she stumbled over her own feet and fell. Plag sighed and flew in front of her face. Hey, listen, don't freak out. There isn't much time to explain. He beckoned for her to follow. Hesitating, the girl slowly got up and followed the creature. She looked around to see if anyone else saw this, but everyone else was busy getting away for their own safety. She eventually made it to the secluded alley. She looked around for the kitty, but it popped up in front of her. What are you? She asked with wide eyes. You are definitely not a regular cat. Don't get me wrong, sweet cheeks, but I can't explain right now. Plag stated smugly. My name's Plag. What's yours? YN? Well, YN, I need you to listen carefully. My pal Aid. He suddenly burped out green bubbles. YN shook her head in disbelief. I must be dreaming, she mumbled. Meow? My bad. He grinned shyly. My owner asked me to find a suitable replacement for a while. You need to help me get to him. He's at the top of the Eiffel Tower, controlled by the akumatized kid. We need to save him. We? Wear this ring. What the heck am I getting into? I've never seen anything like this before. I shouldn't trust it, but my sibling is up there. If I could get to this kitty's owner, he could get to them. She opened her palm for him to place the ring in it, and then she put it on. Great. Now, call my name and say, claws out. Oh, and make sure that nobody knows your true identity. She took a deep breath and closed her eyes. Any day now, Plag insisted. Oh, right. Plag? Claws out? Suddenly, within a flash, the skin-color-skinned girl turned into a feline hero. She gasped at the suddenness. She looked at her hand, seeing it clothed in leather with long nails. Looking up her arm, she saw 4 arm bracers from her palm to her elbow, and short leather sleeves. She looked down to see the hero suit clinging to her like a second skin, with a belt covering her hips, and long knee-high boots. Her fingers traced up to her head, which was covered with a hood. Traveling higher, her fingers grazed the iconic cat ears. At the back of her legs, she felt a tail. Putting 2 and 2 together, she gasped once more. Cat Noir is your owner. But no response came. Plag? Plag? She looked around her, but he was nowhere to be found. She began panicking. No, I can't do this by myself. Please, Plag, don't leave me alone and do this all by myself, she whispered. Where are you, kitty, kitty, kitty? And bring the bug with you. She heard the same villain cry. Her sister. She needed to get to her. Standing tall with a newfound determination, she ran out into the chaotic streets. Luckily, still not spotted by the floating kid, she ran with surprising speed towards the Eiffel Tower. She stopped right in front of it, wanting to test her new powers. She attempted jumping. It was higher than normal, but not high enough. How did Cat Noir do it? Remembering, she reached behind her and grasped his stick. On it was a cat paw print. Her thumb grazed it, and the silver instrument stretched, sending her flying. Hwayun screamed in fear the higher she went, calling the attention of the puppeteer. "There you are!" She grinned. "I want to play!" She flew towards the ascending hero. Reaching the top, Hwayun managed to stumble on its surface as the staff automatically retracted. "Wait, you are not Ladybug," a voice spoke. Looking up, she saw a very handsome boy around her age, looking at her disappointedly. "Oh, boy." No, I'm not. I'm..." She remembered Plag's words. "I'm Feline," she states questionably. She stood up straight and nodded. "Don't worry, citizens, I'm here to help." She walked forward and counted the amount of people there, relieved to see her sister. Observing the actions before, Hwayun remembered the puppeteer using dolls to control them. She needed to find a way to get to them. "Please, I need your help." Some scoffed. "A superhero asking for our help? This must be a joke." One laughed dryly. "What kind of superhero are you anyway?" Another asked skeptically. "Imitating Cat Noir, you're doing it wrong." "Where are Cat Noir and Ladybug anyway?" Her large emerald eyes widened. "But I just wanted..." she whispered softly. The words of the hostages made her cower away, breaking the tiny confidence she managed to gather. Adrien witnessed this, feeling bad for her. Plag must have picked her for the right reason. "Feline, she locked our dolls behind that door," Adrien confessed. His tone was encouraging, just like the look in his eyes when she looked up to stare at him. She gave a grateful nod. She picked up the staff and used it to break the handle on the door. "Ah, what are you doing?" Feline spun to see the villain flying in. The puppeteer glared at her, releasing its Cat Noir. "Hey, you're not Cat Noir or Ladybug. Who are you?" she asked, folding her arms. "I'm Feline. I came to free these people and stop you," she spoke, determined. She whipped around the metal staff and pointed it defensively at the acclimatized kid. Sighing, the puppeteer flicked her wand, and the citizens of Paris rushed to Feline. "I can't hurt these people," she thought. "Her Akuma is in the wand." The blonde boy aided. "Break it." "The wand. Got it." Believing in her actions once more, Feline used the staff to launch herself towards the preschoolers. Her action got halted by a hand that clutched her ankle. She was sent against the wall. As the people approached, Feline used the staff to wipe it under their feet, throwing most of them off. With enhanced speed, she ran towards the kid and slammed her against the wall with the staff. It was brutal, but it had to be done. The girl's staff flew across the room, and the remaining puppets fell on the floor. Feline managed to pounce the staff, catching it midair and breaking it with her knee. She noticed a little dark butterfly seeping out of it and flying away. She caught it between her fingers. If this little thing can cause so much havoc, it's not good. The spell that managed to bound the citizens was no more, and the puppeteer turned back to the little adorable kid again. Everyone looked stunned at the young female hero and clapped in adoration. "Feline, that was incredible. Thank you." Praise went up like that, and all Feline could do was stand and blush. She hardly noticed the handsome blonde approach her. Placing his hand on her shoulder, snapped her out of her gaze. His gentle green eyes held in her nervous, eye-colored ones. "You were awesome," he praised. "All thanks to you," she stated, flustered. "I couldn't have done it without your help." Adrien couldn't help getting drawn into her jade green irises. Perhaps they were even different without this suit. She was so brave and really pretty, he thought with admiration. Not everyone could have done what she did. Feline squeezed the butterfly between her two fingers without thinking. Feeling the gaze of the handsome boy became intense. She never really talked to a cute guy before that, and he somehow seemed familiar. She looked down beside her when she felt something tugging her tail. It was her sibling. "Miss, I need to get to my big sister," she shyly chimed. Oh, right. She remembered. She flashed Adrien a glance. I'm sorry, I have to get everyone down now. Maybe I'll see you around? Feline ushered the girl to climb on their back. She walked towards the edge and extended the staff until she heard the metal collide with the street below. She held on to it as the grown-ups slid down, some terrified and others rushing to go on it. The last person happened to be the familiar blonde. A blush grew on the heroine's face. Be safe. I will. He smiled, a charming smile. Unbeknownst to them, the girl on the shy hero's back happened to recognize the voice. Strange enough, the two teenagers' eyes lingered for a bit. Adrien then held onto the staff and skillfully slid down. Feline dreamily sighed. She snapped out of it when her sibling cleared her throat. She herself gripped the staff and made her way down, her younger sister letting out an excited squeal, landing safely on her cushioned boots. Feline pressed the button for the staff to retract to its former size. Cool, she sighed. The police and ambulance received every hostage, probably to help them home. The young girl on her back jumped off again, calling her sister's name. A thought snapped into her head. How am I going to turn back? She sneaked away before the press, who happened to be there too, got a hold of her. She ran behind the Eiffel Tower, looking around to see if anyone was stalking her. She ran a little further, managing minor flips, jumps, and slides, and found an alley to hide in. She looked around once more before clutching her head and panicking. What am I to do? She mentally cried. Okay. Plague said claws out. Maybe Plague? Claws in? With a sudden flash and gush of wind, the hair-colored-haired girl wore her regular clothes again. Her hands traveled along her body to check if everything was intact. Luckily, it was. Wyan let out a relieved chuckle. Impressive, Wyan. You are pretty brave out there, Plague complimented, hovering in front of her. It felt amazing. I can't believe I did that. Her eyes were wide with shock and amazement. I'd love to chit-chat with you about it, but I can't stay any longer. The ring? Oh, right. She pulled off the ring and handed it back to the flying cat. Plague, before you leave, could you tell Cat Noir I'm a big fan? The kitty grinned teasingly. Very well, I'll tell him he has another fan to add to his list, Plague joked. As Plague flew away, Wyan made her way to her sister. They met up and walked home. That evening, their worried parents were finally at rest and could think straight. They were grateful for the hero who saved their children as they continued to explain how the new heroine, Feline, came to the rescue. After dinner, Wyan went to her room. She was exhausted after that day and really needed to lay down. However, adrenaline still ran through her veins. What had happened today could never be forgotten. A knock on the window snapped her out of her thoughts. She reluctantly got up, not expecting any visitors, especially not from her window. She gasped when she saw who it was and quickly opened the door. Cat Noir, what are you doing here? She blinked. The black-suited male swiftly jumped inside her room and stood in front of her. He couldn't mistake the sound of her beating heart, making him smirk. Cute, he thought. I just thought I'd pay you a visit after you saved me and the whole of Paris. He smirked. He took her hand and held it in his. Thank you, he said, genuinely. Not knowing what to say, Wyan's mouth was left agape and her brain dazed. Cat Noir chuckled. You don't have to say anything. Just wanted to... I already said that. He chuckled nervously. Well, I have to leave. I can't stay for too long. But maybe I'll see you around. He winked. Wyan nodded slowly and managed to peep out. Good night. Before jumping out the window, Cat Noir glanced back at the stunned girl. Good night. That night, Wyan kept feeling the warm feeling she felt inside, both from Cat Noir and the blonde boy she met today. Oh, this was a very long story, but it was worth it because I haven't posted in for freaking ever. This is by Miss Africa. I love that name, first of all. But yeah, have an amazing morning, have an amazing evening, have an amazing afternoon, whenever you are, and I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Goodbye, everyone. I love you so much.